Look Outreach is underwritten by the generous support of Munter Enterprises. Family owned and operated since 1972, integrity is important, as our family name is on every project. Our word is our bond. Munter Enterprises. Just build it.
Welcome back, everyone. Well, as you know, Wellspring, right here in Saratoga, if you followed this program, you know that they participated in the Purple Purse Challenge. That was a national competition. They came in third in the country. They raised $130,000 between the money they raised in the community and the $50,000 stipend that they got for coming in third place. And so much of that has to do with my guest, who's a frequent guest here. This is Maggie Fronk, who's the Executive Director of Wellspring. So welcome back. Congratulations.
Thanks, Jesse. And so much has to do with our giving community and also with you for helping us get the word out.
Oh, it goes without saying that to be part of this was a privilege, without a doubt. I always like to start interviews with you, just to remind people what Wellspring is.
Yeah. Wellspring is the Domestic Violence Service Agency in Saratoga County and Sexual Assault Services Agency in Saratoga and Washington counties.
And how long have you personally been involved, Meg?
15 years.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Now, you, outside of the fact you were working 24/7, I know because we were doing weekly updates on the fundraising activities. It turned out to be very, very successful. The little event that you had this past week where you thanked people was a wonderful event also. And you saw so many members of the community come out who showed support to help you get third place. Now, in 15 years, you've seen it all. And I'm sure that's a mix of things that break your heart and also things that you find very rewarding. Mm-hmm. The money that you raised between the community and between the award, $130,000, where is that money going?
Okay, it's going to go kind of to those two things you just talked about, the things that break my heart and the things that really engage and excite me. So the breaking my heart is the survivor services. It will go for our survivor services like shelter, hotline, counseling, legal advocacy. So part of the money will go toward supporting people who've experienced domestic violence, and the other part will go toward prevention and social change efforts. Oh,
that's terrific. Let's go there. You know, the first one is heartbreaking. And it's unfortunate, but there is a resource with Wellspring to be able to help those individuals. The preventive, give me a sample, maybe two of the programs that address that.
Okay, one is a program we just started this year that's really exciting. It's called Coaching Boys into Men. So we're working with coaches of male athletes in high school, and we're using the role model that the coach is to those young boys to have conversations with the boys every week about issues like respectful language and character and not bullying and leadership. And what we're doing, those are things that will decrease gender-based violence, but also make those boys into leaders in the community.
I find that kind of mentoring to be the most beneficial. You know, we tend to live in a world where, you know, do you have the right sneakers? Are you going to do the right video game or something like that? With not enough attention being paid to the actual process that boys have to go through to become men. And it isn't all about bullying. It isn't all about what sneakers you've got. It really is understanding society and the place that you, and the role you play in that society as you grow up. Some of that's role playing, isn't it?
It is. And you know, I think one of the things is, boys have so many bad role models they see in life.
That's right. Sure.
You know, young male athletes, we've seen that some athletes are in the news for doing these kind of things, but their coach is somebody they see day after day, year after year, and they respect.
There is another program, In Their Shoes.
Yes.
Which is, I think they're kind of related, aren't they? When you talk about prevention, let's face it, you have to have mentors, you have to have like coaches who will actually help guide young boys as they're going through, but there's nothing like being in someone's shoes, right?
That's right. Yeah. And so in their shoes and in her shoes, one program's about dating violence, the other's about domestic violence. And what they are their experiential programs where our participants come in a group and they each assume the role of a character. And these characters are all based on real life stories. And they get to walk the path of that person and make different decisions along the way. And that is, in the making the decisions, you get to understand the challenges and obstacles that domestic violence or a dating violence victim experiences.
You know, Maggie, two things stand out there. Is one, if you just based on what you were just saying, you know, you make this decision, this happens. What are the consequences if you make another decision? What happens in that situation? Sometimes you wouldn't believe what that means. And then the other thing is that it's so easy to say, well, why didn't you just get in the car and leave? You know, and then you begin to understand that fear is central to so much of what we're talking about here. And it isn't just fear of the situation. It's something you said to me earlier, really stuck in my mind. It's the fear of all of the ramifications surrounding it. And that can numb someone, right? That can basically make them incapable of acting.
Absolutely. And sometimes it's surprise and shock in the moment, but it's not necessarily the thing that's happening. That's where we say, why didn't they leave?
Yeah,
but it's
right.
What's going to happen to my job, to my social relationships? Will I lose my housing? There's all kinds of other factors that enter someone's mind where it's hard to just walk.
Yeah, sure. You know what? The bottom line here is just think about the ramifications of what we're talking about. That if it is related to dating violence or domestic violence, that it isn't just an isolated incident. It has so much has to do with the thinking leading up to and also what the ramifications are for those actions. And that's what Wellspring does. So Maggie, congratulations. You worked so hard on that Purple Purse Challenge.
You did too.
But you really did. And now that money is going directly into the programs that we discussed in terms of helping survivors and also the preventative programs. And as always, you're welcome anytime to come on and give us an update on what's going on.
Thanks so much.
Nice to see you, Mag.
Good seeing you too.
To see this interview again, you can head to our website, looktvonline.com.